Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Apples and Oranges. We're going to kind of do a little ad hoc. We're going to be off script today. We're just coming back from Holy Week, from Easter. We took a little hiatus there because...
long break.
Yeah, it was a long break. Well, we did 8 episodes, believe it or not.
Yeah, actually, I was surprised how many we did. I was like, oh, we only have 4 left, technically.
Yeah, we did a lot. And for those of you that don't know, my name is Pastor Jason. I'm a local pastor here in Toms River, New Jersey for a church called Alive Again Alliance. And next to me is my co-host.
I'm Ashley Duffner. I'm a mom, a wife, and a student of the Bible.
Amen. Homemakers, toughest job there is
yeah.
a homemaker. Well, listen, Apples and Oranges is a podcast that usually takes a view or a topic.
Mm-hmm.
We usually share what the world's perspective is of that view or topic, and then we usually give it a biblical twist. Not a twist, but a biblical understanding. We go to the scriptures and we show our listeners what the Bible has to say and where the Bible has to say it. The next few episodes, though, we're going to take a little detour.
Yes, this was Jason's idea.
Why don't you tell our viewers and our listeners what our detour looks like?
So basically, we are going to be discussing 2 movies that Jason and I have watched, and we're going to do reviews on them.
Now, these movies, are they Christian-based movies, or
Yes.
Can they be any kind of a movie?
Well, I don't know, really.
Oh.
But so far, we're doing Christian-based movies,
So we're going to kind of play, back when I was growing up, you might not know this because I was born in the 70s and graduated high school in the 90s. There were these 2 people called Siskel and Ebert. Have you ever heard of them?
Nope.
Yeah, okay. Siskel and Ebert were movie critics, and what they would do is every week the new set of movies came out, and they critiqued the new
Okay.
movies, and they would give them 5 stars up, 5 thumbs up, whatever,
Okay.
five popcorn kernels, whatever.
Gotcha.
On just how they thought the movie ranked.
We're like Rotten Tomatoes now.
Is that what it's Rotten Tomatoes?
There's like a Rotten Tomatoes thing where it scores what a movie is.
Oh, that's great. So we'll call this the Rotten Apples and Oranges.
Yeah.
For
the next few episodes.
For the next few episodes. And and so listen, for those of you that are out there and you're watching on YouTube or you're listening on Spotify, we're at 98 subscribers. We're trying to hit that 100 subscriber mark. Hopefully that gives us a little bit of different capabilities with YouTube, where we can do some live streaming and we can do just a couple different fun things with YouTube. So thank you for all of our subscribers out there. Again, sorry we were on a little vacation, but we're back now, and we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna do some movies.
Yeah.
If you're out there and you want us to talk about a movie you've recently seen, put it in the comment section of the YouTube. Email us at aliveagainne@gmail.com.
Yes.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Ashley is the co-host of Many Words today.
I'm always a co-host of Many Words.
So
I think I say not a lot, though, every show. You definitely talk a lot more than I do. Let's just say that.
Okay. So tell us, Ashley, what's the first show we're going to break down for our viewers and our audience today?
I think you wanted to talk about Miracles from Heaven.
Miracles from Heaven. Now, let me tell you this, first of all. For those of you that have never seen this movie, this is not a new movie. Let me see. This movie came out...
it's actually kind of new.
2016.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 2016.
The years are flying.
Yeah, well, COVID. I mean, COVID has kind of taken 2 years off of everybody's life.
I graduated in 2016.
Yeah, so Miracles from Heaven. I'm going to tell you right now, you graduated what?
I graduated high school in 2016.
You can stop talking now. Thank you. You've contributed enough to this show.
I think you graduated high school when I was born. 1997, right?
Thank you. Yes, 1997. Graduating class from Jackson Memorial High School. Woo, woo. Shout out to Jackson.
Oh,
Best
gosh.
wrestling and football team in the state.
Yeah.
So anyway, back to Miracles from Heaven. So here's my first comment on this, and I really would love your feedback on it because, guys tend to have a little bit of a firmer view on movies. They oftentimes don't cry. And I'm going to tell you this. From the onset, from the opening scene of this movie, you had better have a box of tissues.
Yes, it was so sad.
It was very sad. Now, for our listeners out there, don't give the conclusion, but why don't you tell our listeners what they'll experience when they watch this movie?
Well, you're going to be sad just about the entire time.
Wow. That makes me want to go out and see it right now.
I mean, it was like a good movie, I guess, kind of.
Yeah.
But, like, if you're thinking you're going to watch a regular movie where there's, like, ups and downs and good and bad, you're really not. It's just bad the whole time, basically.
Well, when you say bad, do you mean like the acting is bad? Do you mean the storyline is bad?
No, I mean, like
what is bad?
Like, the whole thing is, like, what do you call it? I know there's certain words in, like, movies and writing. Like, you know how there's, like, a climax?
Yes.
There's no climax in this movie, is there? Maybe there is. But it's toward, like, the very end, I would say.
Yeah.
Because most of the beginning is all just, like, up. It's, like, rising action. That's what it's called. But the rising action is all sad.
Yeah, so this movie is an hour and 49 minutes.
Yeah.
And I would say that the climax for this movie comes at about the hour and 20-minute mark.
Yes.
Right? Would you agree with that?
Yep.
It's like really far at the end, and like something dramatic happens to the little girl. So basically, the really quick storyline is this little girl. She has a terminal illness with her digestive system, and just when you think things are getting better, something traumatic happens to her again. And you're like, oh my God, can this ever stop for this poor girl?
Well, I don't think that you ever think anything's getting better.
Well, so the reason I say that is because, like, she's outside playing with her sisters.
Okay, yes.
She's trying to engage life again.
So the scene is, like, more happy.
Yeah.
But overall, it's just all sad.
It was just really all sad, and then something.
And then it just gets worse again.
Yeah, it just gets worse again. Now I want to, like, if you're thinking, oh, this is probably one of those dorky Christian movies, I just want to name a couple of actors and actresses who were in this movie because it has a pretty rich cast. And I was surprised.
Yeah.
Right? So, Jennifer Gardner.
Yes.
Jennifer Gardner is the
13
mother.
going on 30.
What's
Everybody
that?
knows her.
I don't know
That's what
her.
she's in.
That's a movie? That's the
13
name of
going
the
on
movie?
30? You
No
have
idea.
to know that movie.
No idea.
With the Hulk guy. What's his name? The guy that plays the
The
Hulk.
Incredible Hulk?
Yeah. He's not actually the Hulk in the movie, but what's his name? Mark?
I don't know.
Or something like that.
We're moving on.
Okay.
But I'll look it up. Maybe that's a movie we'll do a review on. 13 going on 30.
I don't think so.
No. Okay. So Jennifer Gardner. So you're telling me like she's a pretty famous person.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's very
Never heard
famous.
of her. Kylie Rogers. She's in this movie. Don't really know her. Here's another one that we all know. John Carroll Lynch. John Carroll Lynch, a great comedian. He's the pastor in this movie. The older guy, bald guy. You'll know him when you see him. Google it. John Carroll Lynch. And then Bruce Altman. Bruce Altman is the doctor in this show. He's an older actor, really good actor. But here's a pretty big name, Queen Latifah.
Yeah, I forgot she was in it.
Yeah, I mean, Queen Latifah's in this movie, and she tries to bring some light-spirited activities and lightheartedness to the movie, but it's just really hard.
Yeah.
Hard to do.
And I also want to say to the fact that, like, it's like everybody, you're like, it's a Christian movie or whatever. Mm-hmm. But, like, I feel like a lot of the movie was not really like that. If that makes sense. Like, there wasn't too much.
What do you mean by that?
It wasn't too much of, like, a religious movie. I don't think. Do you think so?
Well, I think that it was.
You think so?
I think that it was a challenging movie on faith, right? Because they show very early on that they attend church.
Yeah.
They go to a Baptist or Presbyterian, or they don't really name them the denomination, but they go to church. Mm-hmm. And then I think that there is at one point where the mother and the father are in the barn, right? And the husband
Yeah,
She's
I
like,
remember that part, yeah.
why aren't you worried about this, or why aren't you reacting a different way? And so he's talking about his prayer life,
Yeah.
and she just blurts out, I don't have a prayer life anymore.
Yeah.
So it's really the trying test of going through a trial and testing your faith.
But I guess it was like the absence for me of like, I guess her faith or whatever, that kind of I felt through the whole movie. Like it wasn't brought up that much.
For the mother, it wasn't, right?
And it was focused on her.
Yeah.
So like I feel like it wasn't a lot throughout the movie. It was more of like, okay, in the beginning they go to church and they pray and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it was more at the end too.
But I have to say, I think that's one of the very few attributes or characteristics I liked about this movie, because it showed...
It wasn't like saturated in
right.
the corny gospelness.
Right, and it showed, I believe it showed like the true experience when you're going through a trial. Like not everybody is happy, and not everybody is, up high in the sky by the sweet by and by. Like she was going through some real struggles here.
Yeah,
they had lack of money, and the procedure that the daughter needed was going to cost a ton of money. My goodness, there was one scene with the doctor. I just wanted to go into the TV and smack the doctor because they didn't want to help her, remember? They didn't want to help the mom, and they were like, oh, she has a stomach ache, or she's lactose intolerant, right? And so it was just really annoying, and so you could really feel the pain. I mean, she did, what was her name again? Kelly Gardner? What's her name? Jennifer Gardner. She just really did a great job of making you feel the pain that a mother experiences.
Oh yeah, it was sad.
When her daughter is going through something. I mean, I could not even imagine. I don't pray that on anybody, that they get a diagnosis that your daughter has a terminal illness.
Yeah, it was terrible. My goodness.
Not good.
I think it was a good movie though, but I don't know. I wouldn't watch it again.
So you wouldn't watch it again?
No.
No, why? Because it was too sad, or
it was just like sad the whole time.
It was over emotional.
Yeah, it was like I said, there was no like ups and downs. It was just all terrible.
So here we go. Here's our first rating for the Apples and Oranges podcast, movie critics. So how many rotten would you give it? Rotten apples, or would you give it healthy apples?
I don't know.
Uh-oh.
We have to have just one set. How many apples would we give it?
How many apples would you give it? Right. How many apples would you give it?
Out of how many?
And you got to describe out of 5.
Out of 5?
Out of 5 apples, how many would you give it? And you got to tell our listeners why.
I guess I would give it a 3.
Okay.
I did like you said, how it wasn't like completely. It was like more reality rather than everybody like so focused on God and making it like that Christian movie. Yeah. So I did kind of like that. But also at the same time, like it was just so sad the whole time. I wouldn't want to watch it again. So that's why I give it a 3.
So you gave it a 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would probably give it a 2, maybe a 2.5.
Okay.
And for me, it was like they did a really good job of the emotional aspect of the movie and of the experience. Mm-hmm. I just think that they drowned in it in that. And I mean, my wife, she stopped watching it 15 or 20 minutes in because she just started, like, you start crying right away.
And then you just don't stop. Like, you just keep crying.
Right, because, like, your heart goes out to this family, to the mother, to the daughter. So you're on an emotional roller coaster. So they did a really good job of the emotional roller coaster. I think that they just ran that roller coaster too long.
Yeah, at one point Jake and I are like, why are we even watching this?
Yeah.
Because it was just like, it was just sad.
Yeah, and I will say, I do think, again, for those that are watching and listening, they did a really good job of depicting a true experience of a mother and her hurt. Well,
this is actually based off of a real story.
Yeah, this is based off of a true story.
So
you can go and you can read the testimony.
They didn't want to change it too much, so it was real life.
No, and rightfully so.
What really happens.
Yeah, I don't want to give the ending away, but I will say the last 20 minutes, and particularly the last few minutes when they're in the church, I really liked the ending.
Yeah, the ending was good.
And I liked how they brought a witness in. Again, I don't want to give away the ending, but check out the witness part. It was pretty radical, pretty cool. So there you have it. Apples and Oranges movie rating for Miracles from Heaven is a 3 and a 2.5. So
well, you said 2 at first, and I said 3, so let's just do 2.5.
let's just do 2.5. So listen, for those of you that are watching and listening, we'd like you to kind of challenge our movie critic here, our critique. Watch it, Miracles from Heaven. And let us know. I'm just going back to it. Again, it's Miracles from Heaven. It was produced in 2016. It's an hour and 49 minutes. Have a lot of tissues with you. I mean, maybe even just break out a towel from the cabinet there and just use that. Let us know what you think of the movie. Again, we gave it a 2.5. Some pretty good actors in it and actresses, so check it out. What's the next movie we're going to talk about?
Okay, the next movie is called God's Not Dead.
God's Not Dead.
When was that made?
So God's Not Dead. Very interesting question. God's Not Dead was made. This is an older movie. This movie came out in. Oh, I thought I had it here. Where is it? 2013.
2013.
It looks like. Yeah, it looks like it came out in 2013.
Yeah,
Yep.
I could see that. It's older.
Yeah, it's an older movie. Again, it has some pretty good actors in it, though.
Yeah.
And so what is this movie about? No, I'm sorry, 2014. Yep, came out in 2014. Yep.
Okay, so this movie is about a college student who is basically challenged on whether or not to speak about his beliefs, I want to say.
Okay. Right, he was in a philosophy class.
Yeah, he was in a classroom where basically he had to say that God was dead and not real or whatever it is. And the professor made like all the kids sign this paper, but he wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So then he had to speak in front of the class in order to earn his grade for the semester.
3 times, right?
Yeah.
He had to speak 3 different times.
A lecture 3 times, convincing the class and the professor, right? Was it the professor or just the class?
So he had to convince the class.
The class.
And the class was they were the group that were going to vote.
Yes.
So he had to defend his position.
He only had like 30 minutes at the end of each class
or
something.
20 minutes, yeah. Because because everybody in the class, if I remember it right, everybody in the class wrote down God's Not Dead, and they had to sign it.
Yeah, well, because the professor was like, if you don't do this, basically you fail.
Right.
So they had to, I mean, I guess they didn't really care that much what they were writing.
Yeah, he was kind of bullying them, right?
Well, honestly, I was mad the whole movie because I was like, Jake, this is not real life.
Yeah.
Like, that professor is not allowed to do that.
How do you know?
Because I know it.
Well, okay.
That's just like a rule. It's called religious freedom. You can't force people to write on a paper something they don't believe in. If not, then they fail the class.
Well, I don't think he said that. I think he said that he said he made it very easy for them to pass a portion of the class by writing down God's Not Dead. We don't have to cover whether there's a creator or anything. He said, let's cut that right out here by signing a piece of paper that says God's not dead. And then he said, if anybody believes that God is real, you're going to have to prove it, but I'm going to make it very difficult for you to prove. And most likely, you're not going to pass.
Yeah, but, like, that's just, I don't know. I was just so mad the whole movie because it was like, he can't force him to write that down. Like,
right.
That's just not realistic.
Because
and
at the end,
anybody around in the school heard about that, like any of the top, like, I don't know who owns a college, but like they would be like, you can't do that. Yeah, that's not legal.
I thought it was really brave of him to stand up to the teacher.
Oh, I did too.
And I thought that his rebuttal to the teacher because at first the teacher was going to grade him, and he said no. He said, why don't we let the students decide?
Yeah, because the teacher could just be like, no, which he would have anyway.
And I think he even said, because you have a biased view.
Yeah, you're not open-minded.
You're not open-minded to it.
But I like in the movie how also, like, it's, like, different people's lives and perspectives.
Yeah, that's...
Like, they all kind of they get together in the end. Like, it shows the life of people.
Well, so that was probably the most impactful part of the movie for me was watching the different relationships that were behind the scenes. So there was the Afghan, or I don't know if she was Afghan, but she was a Muslim. Mm-hmm. And then there was the gentleman from the People's Republic of China.
China, yeah.
And then there was
I love that guy.
the actual priest, right? The priest
he was good.
who was trying to go, I guess, to Disney World or Disneyland. Every time he tried to start his car, it wouldn't start.
Yeah.
And so it was really, and then there was the boyfriend's girlfriend, right? Like, she was a believer?
Girl, yes, but
they met at church. They met at a youth group, right?
Yeah. They were both very into it, but then she was like, no, you need to pass the class, so you better sign the paper.
Right, because she was all about her life dreams and her life aspirations.
Yeah, and getting married and then graduating the college and this and that.
Right.
And she didn't want anything to stop that.
To get in the way, right, because she wanted him to be a lawyer, I think it was, right?
Yeah, and she knew that he would fail if he did it because the professor made it literally impossible. So
and it was going to ruin what she had, her dream picture. And so I really, because those are real, in my mind, they did a really good job of a couple things, in my opinion. Life on college campus is about the liberal mindset. And what I mean by that, I'm not talking about, and maybe I am in a sense, it's about challenging the status quos of society. Yep. That's usually what you experience on a college campus. And I thought that they did a really good job of capturing that in this movie. I thought that the struggle between him and his girlfriend, like, she wanted the things of the world so much that she was saying, yeah, just write down on a piece of paper, God's not dead. Mm-hmm. Didn't care that meant something to his faith.
Yeah.
I really also enjoyed how, when I think it was at that same conversation, he was talking to her and the Muslim girl was listening. And he didn't know she was listening.
Yeah, I don't really remember that scene, but
it was very subtle. And you only really make the connection at the end of the movie. I'm not going to give it away, but you'll make the connection at the end of the movie when they're in the concert.
Actually, maybe I do remember that because I was like, "Ooh, are they going to get together?"
Oh my goodness.
Because he broke up with a girlfriend, or she basically left him because he didn't want to sign the paper, and so then I was like, "Oh, are they going to date now?"
Yeah, and so it was really, and it was also really interesting to me how just the two of them having conversations is real life. Like, people listen to our conversations, and that can change people's lives. When you watch this movie, you'll see what ends up happening to the Muslim character. You end up seeing what happens, to the gentleman from the People's Republic of China, and his father did something really dramatic to him. Yeah. Right?
Uh-huh. Well, they both did.
I had to rewind the scene because I was like, what just happened here? And because it happened really quickly. And it was really interesting. But listen, let me go over some characters here because, again, this had a pretty good cast.
You didn't do that yet?
No, I didn't do this yet. It had, let me see here. Who would we say? First of all, it had David A.R. White. He was the Reverend.
Yeah, he was good. I liked him.
Yeah, he was good. Kevin Sorbo. Kevin Sorbo was the philosophy teacher in this movie.
Oh man,
can't stand him. He did a fantastic job of being annoying. There was Shane Harper. You know Shane Harper.
Yes, he's from Good Luck Charlie.
I have no idea. Channel. No idea who Shane Harper is. And then there was Benjamin A. Anyango. He was the African friend with the Reverend.
Oh, I loved him. He was good.
He was good. There was Paul Kuo. Paul Kuo was the gentleman he was the student from the People's Republic of China. You said you liked him.
Yeah, he's in the next one too, I think.
And then there's Hadel Situ. Hadel Situ is the Muslim young lady. Mm-hmm. So it had her. Oh, and then I don't want to leave out Michael Tate. Michael Tate is the lead singer from the Newsboys. The Newsboys are actually in this this movie.
Yes, they are.
Right?
They held the concert at the end.
Yeah, they have that famous song, "God's Not Dead,
Yep.
He's Surely Alive, Living on the Inside," right?
Yep.
And then so it had a pretty good cast. This show or this movie did.
I will say though, this movie was a little bit more on the cornier side.
Oh, why? Why do you feel that?
Because
here I am praising it, and you're saying it's good.
No.
Oh, Willie Robertson was in this movie, the Duck Dynasty guys.
Oh yeah, he
right?
was.
The
Yeah.
Duck Dynasty guy, and his wife was in it,
Yeah,
Mrs.
they were
Robertson.
In the church.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
What was I gonna say?
You said it was corny.
No, I don't think the whole movie was corny, but there was like lines in the movie that I can like picture someone from the church like reading word for word.
Wait, what? I
Like-
wasn't listening. I blanked out. What'd you say?
Like, I forget, there was like one scene where someone said something and I was like, oh, that sounds like the from the book. You know what I mean? From like a Christian's book.
Yes.
That's what a Christian would
Okay.
say.
I understand
So
what you're
there was a
saying.
few lines.
There was a few corny lines like that.
Yeah,
yes.
there was a few corny lines where like you'd be like, oh my gosh, you've heard this 1,000 times from people at church or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with you there.
I see in the first movie, that was Miracles from Heaven, there was none of that in
Yeah,
that,
you didn't
in
feel
that
any of
movie.
that in that
No.
one.
But in this one, it kind of felt a little bit more scripted, like to the Christian person.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But it's not saying that I didn't like it. It was just times I was like, oh, cringe.
Yeah, I thought I could see that.
Yeah.
I agree with you there. Just to give you again some feedback on this here. This is a 2014 movie. It came out on March 21st, 2014. I'm just trying to see how long this one ran. This is a quick one compared to Miracles of God. This is 112 minutes. So
A little over an hour.
yeah, a little over an hour. Well,
Oh, wait, no.
almost 2 hours.
Almost.
90 minutes is 60 minutes is an hour. 120 is 2.
So it was about
So,
the same as the other one.
The other one was an hour and 49
48
minutes.
And this one was like, what, an hour and
An
42?
hour and I guess so. Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah, I
not
guess
that
so. You're right. Yeah. So
But like this one had like more to the storyline.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like all sad and like stuff
Yeah.
like that. Actually, I don't think there was a lot of sad parts in it.
no.
Nothing that made me cry.
No. I would agree with you on that. Now this is interesting. So this it may come as to why some of the corniness. The budget for God's Not Dead. How much do you think how many millions do you think they used to make God's Not Dead?
I don't know. Probably not a lot. It was probably like a charity movie.
2 million.
2 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
2 million to make this movie.
Yeah,
Whereas,
I could get that feel for that
Yeah.
because it was more of like a low budget movie.
Yeah, so that's a little bit where that corniness comes in there,
Yeah.
right? Would you agree with that?
Yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Which
So
I think I already mentioned to Jake because like when we watched it, I was like, "Oh, that was corny," and then we were like, "Yeah, it's kind of a lower budget movie, I think."
yeah. All right, so
But my overall
God's Not
rating,
Dead. Yeah, what's your rating? Apples.
I would give it a 4.
Oh, a 4.
I liked it. I liked this movie. It was a good
Okay.
movie. Like when I was done watching it, I was like, "Oh, that was a good movie to watch." Like it was entertaining and it was like feel good too.
Yep.
Like I wasn't crying and sad, but I was interested.
Yeah.
And like there was an overall good message.
Yeah. I would probably agree with you. I would give it a 4 also, and the reason again, I was just I really liked the way that they had the diversity in the characters.
Yeah, that's cool.
I really liked the way that they reflected on the different religions that were in the movie. I also really thought that it really displayed how the Christian needs to be able to defend the faith.
Yeah.
So many times you come up to an individual and they say, "Oh, I'm a Christian," and you say, "Oh, tell me a little bit more about that." And it's like a deer in the headlight look.
Yeah.
And so I thought that it was a really good reminder of how, like, listen, there was I forget how many students. I think he said there was like 80 students in the class. Every one of them wrote down "God's not dead,"
Yeah.
except for him.
Besides the one, yeah.
And then there was a comment by the priest because he shows up. He shows up in the church and he's praying. The student is praying, and the priest comes out and he kind of says like, "Hey, what are you doing here? Can I help you?" And he goes into what's going on, and the priest says, "Let me put it to you this way." And I'm paraphrasing, but he basically says like, out of those 80 some students, how many of them do you think are going to go into a church? And he was like, probably none of them. Mm-hmm. Right? You remember this part?
Yeah.
And the priest said something really powerful. He said, well, this is probably the only time they're going to hear about your faith.
Yep.
And that was one of the reasons it motivated him to say, you know what, I'm going to defend, and I'm going to. So so that's why I give it a 4. It also had a feel good ending. Like it was kind of like the hero won at the end, and at least I felt that way.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
You guess so? Because like I don't want to give away what happened to the teacher.
Yeah,
but the teacher eventually has.
Yeah, but like that's I kind of felt bad.
Well, the reason I felt good is because.
Yes, I know.
I don't want to give away but it is a sad moment, but it's also a happy moment and a good moment. So I don't want to give that away either. But
I kind of thought that was corny too, though.
Oh, she thought that was corny.
So I didn't know how I felt about it.
So the Apples and Orange podcast gives God's Not Dead 4. A 4. So Miracles from Heaven, right? Or Miracles from God? Miracles from Heaven.
Miracles from Heaven.
Got a 2.5. God's Not Dead got a 4.
Yeah.
All right. Now we want our viewers out there to watch these 2 movies. Again, they're about an hour and 40 minutes apiece, an hour and 20 some minutes apiece. Nice weekend day. A nice rain day. Watch these movies and share your thoughts, share your comments with us in the comment section of our YouTube channel. You can email us your comments at aliveagainne@gmail.com.
Yep.
And listen, we're at 98 subscribers. We're looking
2 more.
Right, we're looking to get over 100. So share this with all of your friends and family that you know. For the next few weeks, we're going to keep it light. We're going to watch a couple more movies, and next week we're going to come back and we're going to criticize some other movies. Maybe God's Not Dead 2.
Yes, I think that we're going to do God's Not Dead 2.
How many God's Not Dead are there?
I think there's actually 3.
There's 3 of them.
I think so, but
Wow.
I already watched the second one too.
Okay.
So.
And then there was a new movie that just came out in the movie theaters.
Yeah, which I figured
with Kelsey
that
Grammer and a couple
people
others.
People would really want to talk about that one because everybody's watching it. You know?
Oh, they are? Is it still in the movie theater?
I don't know.
I'll have to check it out. If not, maybe it's on Netflix or something.
Not yet.
Not yet?
It wouldn't be on Netflix yet, but there's probably a streaming service you can get it on.
All right, we'll have to check
don't
it.
have to go to
Something like
movies
Jesus Revolution, Jesus something?
Something like that,
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so send us what movies you want us to watch, what movies you want us to critique for you, give you our feedback, not that maybe you don't even care what we think about them, but send us your thoughts and give us some ideas and movies on that we can watch and we can critique for you. Mm-hmm. All right?
Thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you next Friday.
Have a great week, everybody.